CBS Sports presents the Geico Play of the Day.
Across the river in East Rutherford, the Bengals' Joe Burrow threads the needle between two Jets defenders, finds Tyler Boyd for the 56-yard touchdown. Boyd bounces off the Jets' Michael Carter II to get over the goal line. It was Boyd's second of the season and Burrow's second of the game.
Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. This is the State Farm Postgame Show.
And hello again, everyone, and welcome to the State Farm Postgame Show. And a reminder, coming up next here on CBS, the PBR Team Series continues in Ridgedale with a party that you don't want to miss. Make sure you tune into PBR Thunder Days, Boomer. That's coming up next right here on CBS as we welcome you back into Studio 43. Full house, Boomer, Nate, Coach, and Phil. Hey, Coach, let me just go through some of the headlines. One that I'd like to get your thoughts on. Winless teams that did pick up victories today: Cincy, Indy, and Tennessee.
Yeah, I think it just speaks volumes about the degree of urgency that that these teams are facing right now. You start the season 0-2. We've all talked about the numbers, about the playoffs if you go 0-3. But also, it's at this point, you're holding on to trying to think that this is not, you know, it's an aberration. It's not what you think it's going to be.
Right.
But man, you're in that walking that room on Wednesdays as a head coach or Monday as a head coach, and you're 0-3. You know, you're looking different up and you're trying to sell something.
Yeah.
And it's hard. So I think you saw desperation today in some of these teams, and that's why you see these winless teams winning.
That's a perfect way to put it. Desperation. These guys are playing inspired. You talk about a sense of urgency. Derrick Henry was running like a madman early on in this game. The leaders have to step up in moments like this. Joe Burrow was focused more than he's ever been. Not just focused on trying to get the win, but also taking care of the ball when he's dropping back and trying to hit his playmakers. You can see that the leaders for each squad stepped up in the moments that mattered the most.
You know, for me, Indy beating Kansas City, that is huge.
That's huge.
Frank and the boys out there in Indianapolis have been hearing it the last couple of weeks. Matt Ryan, he figures out a way to win the game late. Both defenses played really good in this game. The other team that I have to say, wow, is the Miami Dolphins. Now, Coach, you and I thought that they would win today.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's the heat down there and what it does to the other teams. All I know is that Miami will be up in Buffalo before too long and probably be maybe about 60 degrees colder. But the point being is that that is a huge win for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, Miami won, didn't turn the football over. You look at Buffalo Bills, 497 yards on offense, but it was a struggle. The field position, everything, Miami's defense, they did a good job of stopping them. So exciting. And Las Vegas, 1 for 12 on third down, couldn't beat Tennessee.
And we like to welcome those of you who are watching the Cincinnati Bengals at the New York Jets contest. The Bengals come away with the win, their first of the season. They win at 27-12 over the New York Jets. Boomer Esiason, Nate Burleson, Coach Bill Cowher, and, of course, Phil Simms. To the highlights we go.
All right, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Indianapolis Colts. You notice the defensive slugfest all over the place today on this field anyway. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he goes in. Two-point conversion was good. Chiefs took a 14-10 lead. Back comes Matt Ryan late in the game. You can see it right there. 24 seconds left to go in the game. That's Jelani Woods. That's his second touchdown of the day. And here's the final play for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And you can see right there is a tip interception. I'll tell you what, both defenses played great this game, but that is a huge win for the Indianapolis Colts.
And seasoned veteran or not, Boomer, Matt Ryan, there is no question, a sigh of relief after the game. It was our Tracy Wolfson talking with the quarterback, Matt Ryan.
Matt, after a struggle offensively all game long, that final drive, 8 minutes, 14 seconds, take me through it.
Our defense and special teams kept us in it the entire day. And we just kept fighting, kept battling. But you have to believe you're going to win. No matter what, you're going to find a way. That's huge for us today. Hopefully we can build on that. But I'm proud of the guys. There was no quitting the fight.
You talked about resiliency and belief. You spoke to the team after last week's loss. What did you see out of your team today?
Saw a lot of grit, a lot of fight. That's what it's going to take when you play really good football teams like this. You're playing against a great quarterback who can make plays, you know, all game long. you got to find a way to get it done, and we did. We fought hard. It was great.
After 14 years with Atlanta to get a home win and a new stadium, what's that like for you?
It was awesome. This place was rocking today. Fans showed up. It was awesome. Awesome environment. We finally gave them something to cheer about.
Thanks a lot. Congrats.
Thanks, Tracy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, down in Tennessee, these are 2 0-2 teams. So you talk about two teams that are desperate. Ryan Tannehill will take that over from 1 yard out to could lead 21-10. And then with 1:14 to go, you'll see Derek Carr finding Matt Collins in the back of the end zone. Great call, 50-50 ball, great catch. So 2-point play right here to tie up the game. And the ball gets tipped, intended for Darren Waller. And the Tennessee Titans come away with a 24-22 lead. Derrick Henry, 26 of 44 for 303 yards. And here is the
Houston Texans at the Chicago Bears. Roquan Smith intercepts Davis Mills and returns it 18 yards. Game tied at 20-20. And Carlos Santos hit a 30-yard field goal for the win. Chicago beats Houston 23-20.
And you know,
look at these numbers, JB. Got to say it. Boomer was talking about this a lot before the game. Justin Fields, 8 of 17, 106 yards, 2 interceptions. Another tough day for him for sure, but they won the game.
And you know what, Phil, that was one of 4 games on the early slate decided by 3 points or less.
Man, it's just, listen, this league, it's about parity. There's so many good players, so many good quarterbacks, guys running everywhere, speed at wide receiver. It's hard to dominate every single week. And you dominate by really not turning the ball over and having guys that can make special plays to win the game.
Yeah, I don't think Chicago has any answers in regards to their quarterback situation. But you heard Matt Ryan talking about his special teams and how they kept them in the game.
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about miscues? How about Kansas City and all the mistakes that they made on special teams, including missed field goals? You got muff punts right here. This is right at the game. Like, so it's I think it was a 3-and-out for the Colts, and then there was a muff. Then you got a missed field goal here. We know that Harrison Butker is out with that twisted ankle that he hurt on opening Thursday night. They decided to go a fake field goal right here. I mean, you know, these are impossible plays to make. And then another missed field goal. So that's what Matt Ryan was alluding to, saying, well, you know, our guys did great on special teams. Well, you know, easy, Matt. Kansas City made a lot of mistakes on special teams. And it shows you how that will impact the game.
And on the flip side, Matt Ryan didn't make mistakes. And that's what helps you out in learning this offense. And we mentioned it when we were watching the game. You can see Matt Ryan getting more and more comfortable within this system. And you can only imagine a few weeks from now how much control he'll really have on this offense.
Yeah, and, you know, listen, I mean, don't overanalyze. I think we can sit there and we can microanalyze everything. Yeah. But, I mean, listen, the Kansas City Chiefs, you just saw it right there. It's special teams, missed field goals, botched fakes,
right?
You know, you sit there, can't catch a punt. You know, yeah, did they not play their best football? No, but you're going to have to win games like that. That was a desperate team. The Indianapolis Colts played their butt off on defense.
Right.
They really did. They played hard.
Yeah, I know they did, Coach.
I know.
But I'm not microanalyzing anything. They're just 4 mistakes that Drew threw at me that I had to tell everybody that happened.
Those were the miscues.
Yes, that's another miscue.
I would say when you talk about that game, you watch the interview with Matt Ryan at the end of the game, you could see the pressure he felt. He was brought in, got to be the savior, and they're 0-1-1, and everybody, well, Matt Ryan, we got to get rid of him and get another guy, whatever. But you can feel the pressure. I don't know. They try a different guy every year. I'm just talking here. It's the fans. It's the media. It's always the quarterback. But Matt Ryan played tough. He led the team. And, again, you feel that pressure he does because it's the 3rd year in a row we're bringing in a vet. Of course. Who's going to get it done for us?
I'm loving this post-game show. But before I go to this, Nate, can you imagine Coach coaching Boomer Esiason and what that would look like in a tight game?
No. Yeah, we would be yelling, but at the end of the day, I'll be saying, boom, we're saying the same thing.
Yes.
Okay, we're not arguing with each other.
Right.
Let's make sure we get the people around us to feel the same way we feel. We're passionate about it. We go out there. We give it all what we have.
Hey, listen, and it would take a receiver in the huddle to be like, hey, y'all can talk about this in the locker room. Let's get through this game first. You guys always argue.
Speaking of the locker room, after the game, it was a jubilant Colts locker room.
Yeah.
Man, was that a team win? That's the ultimate team win right there. The ultimate team win. In all 3 phases. That's what happened in the second half. My goodness, defense, you held us in there in the first half. You held us in there. Right? We needed a big play on special teams to get the stop. We needed 2 defensive stops down there low. We got both of them. We got it from teams. And then we needed the touchdowns when we needed the most, right? Those last couple drives. And then we got Matty Ice.
See, every time you're yelling, it's not always negative. It's a positive thing, too, you know.
Well, he used to yell at me like that when we were roommates back in college. It's very positive reinforcement the way it is. But, of course, but then again, it goes to tell you just how much the win means and how badly they need it.
Question.
Things were getting real tight over there in Indy, but now you get to relax, loosen up.
Well, they were getting tight right here. You can say whatever they want. They were arguing. One's yelling at the other one. We're here. We see it. We feel it. You know,
We're passionate, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I truly hope that our audience is loving this because this is real, but there is love here as they do the assessment for your benefit. We will step aside from this State Farm post-game show. It will continue after this.
baby.
Hey, folks, get hyped for Thursday to be your favorite night on TV. This Thursday on CBS is premiere night. First new episodes of TV's #1 comedy, that will be Young Sheldon, followed by the #1 new show, the comedy Ghost. Then a mother-son investigative duo teamed up in the series premiere of So Help Me Todd before ending the night with CSI Vegas. It's all part of the big Thursday premieres right here on CBS as we welcome you back to Studio 43 and the State Farm post-game show, and we take it right back to the highlights.
All right, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, battle of the undefeateds. And here is Chase Edmonds on first and goal. He gets in, Miami up 21-17. Now Josh Allen looking for Isaiah McKenzie, who hit earlier in the game, and that was incomplete. The score 21-19 at this point. Now check this out, the clock is ticking. Josh Allen making something happen, extended the play, he gives it to McKenzie. He runs, decides not to go out of bounds, cuts it up. Look at the clock, 10, 9, 8, clicking all the way down. And they try to get to the line of scrimmage and, of course, spike the ball to stop the clock, and they run out of time. The Miami Dolphins, with rookie head coach Mike McDaniel, are now 3-0, beating quality teams. They win this one 21-19.
And after the game, Nate, it was our Melanie Collins talking with the winning quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa.
Well, Tua, another insane finish. Less than 2 minutes left. The safety happens. You're on the sideline. Your defense is out here, you know, is gassed. What's going through your mind as the Bills are driving down the field?
Well, I think it's so cool to see what our team is capable of. Last week, you guys could kind of see like what our offense could do, and now it's not just our offense being able to finish games, but our defense stepping up and being able to finish a tough game against a really good opponent like that. I mean, it's a tough team. It's a division rival opponent for us. You know, just thank the good Lord that you know, we came out with the victory.
And another late game comeback for this team. What does that say about you guys 3 weeks in?
Yeah, you know, I think we're starting to find our identity as a team, but we'll just continue to push. We'll enjoy this win, come in tomorrow and get ready for the Bengals on Thursday.
You left the game to be evaluated for a concussion. I know you were also dealing with a lower back injury. How are you feeling in both accounts?
Yeah, I'm doing good. You know, we'll go get those checked, but for the most part, it feels good, especially after a win.
You hit the road now to take on Cincinnati on a short week. First place in the AFC East, sole possession. How's that sound?
Sounds good. It's about keeping that spot, though. It's about keeping it.
Do it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and that team they're going to play on Thursday night is the Cincinnati Bengals, who was visiting the New York Jets. And here you're going to see Joe Burrow standing right in the pocket, taking the hit. Hits Tyler Boyd, 56 yards for a touchdown. Tyler Boyd had over 100 yards receiving on 4 catches. Joe Burrow, 3 touchdowns, 1 right here. You can see him find Jamar Chase. Again, the all-out blitz, trying to rattle the man. He was sacked only 3 times. Trey Hendrickson on the defense, 2.5 sacks. And the Cincinnati Bengals win 27-12.
Look at those numbers. Joe Flacco, 52 throws again. Oof.
And, of course, we'd want to hear from the winning quarterback to find out what the deal was. It was Joe Burrow after the game.
Well, Joe, after an 0-2 start, I know you guys weren't panicking, but I think a lot of Bengals fans might have been concerned. What do you think you guys showed with the way you played in this game?
You know, we started out fast. We would have liked to finish it differently, but it's a win. And so we needed that heading into next week, short week. enjoy this one for a couple hours, but now we got to get to game planning for Miami. So just like I said after the first 2 losses, it's just one game. It's just one win. We got plenty more.
You mentioned the fast start. What else is important to take from the performance specific to your offense in this game that you can employ on Thursday?
Well, we didn't beat ourselves. We took our chances when they were available. Took the underneath stuff. Our guys did a great job of getting run after the catch, turning 4-yard catches into 8-yard gains, and so we just got to keep that momentum going into next week.
We saw so much of it last year, and it felt like we saw it again today. Your ability to spread it around. When this offense is rolling, how dangerous can this be?
Yeah, I'm going to throw it where the defense tells me to throw it, unless I'm not playing well. And I got so many weapons that I can spread it around. If they're going to take Jamar away, we got TB and T and our other guys and Joe Mixon. So we're excited about how we played today. We got the win. Still got to get better.
Congrats on win number 1. Enjoy that short week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Boy, Evan Washburn fixed Joe Burrow's hair before that interview.
I thought that was a scene from Zoolander.
Patriots Rondé Stevenson goes 1 yard for the touchdown. 2-point conversion is no good. 31-26 Baltimore. Then Lamar Jackson rushes 9 yards for the touchdown. They missed the extra point. Baltimore beats New England 37-26. Look at some of these numbers. Lamar Jackson, yeah, I know, the passing yards, but look at the rushing yards, 107, and Mac Jones, 22 of 32, 321, 3 interceptions. The Ravens, run it, throw it, they can do it all on the offensive
Mac
side.
Jones got hurt there late in the game.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope he's okay. It did not look good as they were helping him off the field. I thought he actually was playing a really good game, and that Patriot fans are seeing something that they've not seen since Cam Newton left, and that's a running quarterback. He took off, made some nice runs, had some really, really nice throws, but then had some bonehead decision-making that led to 2 of the 3 interceptions. I will also say this. Cha-ching when it comes to Lamar Jackson. Woo! Another game over 100 yards rushing. Another game with multiple TD passes.
5 total TDs.
5 total TDs in this game.
Gambling big time on himself.
Right,
no
so
question.
he bet on himself, and he is performing week in and week out.
And it's been done there. Hey, Nate, I got to ask you about the Dolphins. They end a 7-game losing streak to the Bills. They are 3-0 right now in the AFC East.
And the main reason is Tua Tagovailoa. He has been playing unbelievable. Let's take a look at what he's been doing. A guy that has just beautiful delivery with the ball, great anticipation. He's going to throw the ball in there before his DB comes in there right there. You saw a dig route, a little play action. He's going to throw the ball right here, seeing the safety in the corner, getting it in between to Waddle out there, and then dropping back. Traditional quarterback play right down the middle to Jalen Waddle. He's hitting his guys in stride. He's trusting his playmakers, but he just throws a very catchable ball. He doesn't need to wow you, but what he is going to do is he's going to win games. Look at the stats. You got Josh Allen throwing the ball 63 times. 63 times. Now, I know he's talented, but I don't want to see my quarterback throw it that much, even though those stats were crazy. But when you look at Tua, he is so efficient. And listen, you don't need to do too much when you got a guy like Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill that once they touch the ball, they turn into the best playmakers in the business.
You sat there, too, and this is also a Buffalo team that they were depleted on defense.
Wow.
So when you think about what they didn't have, their 2 starting safeties, 2 rookie corners, really thin actually up front and in the middle. But listen, Josh Allen, the ultimate competitor of this football team, went right down to the very end. Josh Boyer did a good job. They gave up a lot of yards, but they didn't give up a lot of points. And I tell you, that's a lot to be said for him. He went after him, he blitzed him, he took some chances, got burned a few times, but it did not deter him from making the plays they had to make at the end of the game.
Yeah.
That was the great equalizer for the Miami Dolphins, I thought, going into the game, was the blitzing by their defense. Yeah. Josh Allen kind of took care of it in the first half. But, you said it, all those yards, not giving up any, the scores, 497 yards Buffalo had and only giving up those points. But the other thing is, too, it was the turnover, the drop punt. That was huge in the game because Miami just let their team play the game. Buffalo felt like they were always in a chase.
Also, that 12th man, the weather, that started to kick in, too.
It really is.
It was pulling on them hamstrings out there, breaking down.
So it was the quick wit that we've gotten used to already with Coach Mike McDaniel, of course, of the Miami Dolphins. Guess what? The locker room was jubilant after this.
It just goes to show this is why we don't worry about anything. We've had so many lessons these 3 weeks. But, who's going to win it for us?
Everybody.
We got him. We got him. Exactly. So everyone's getting a game ball for this. This group doesn't have to talk about a streak anymore. Okay? We are 3-0, which was not the goals that we set out, but it's all we can control right now.
You know what? Here's the deal. He beat Belichick, Harbaugh, and now McDermott. It's three great coaches in this league that have lasted the test of time and have obviously had their own level of success. So he's a unique guy, without question. I feel like I'm going to say that every week about Mike McDaniel. But I will say they only had 212 yards of total offense. Now, Tua got hurt in this game and then came back, and they gave up almost 500 yards. You know, these games don't happen often where you win a game and give up this kind of yardage and hold the other team to that little bit of yardage. So this one to me is the Mike McDaniel. This is the lucky rabbit one, you know, the rabbit's foot one.
I got you.
You know, it's the games that you go in there and as a coach, is he'll come in the next day. They got a short week. They're playing the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday. Let's just be real about where we are with this. Like, we've given up a lot of yards. We got away with a win right here.
Right.
But there are some things that we have to be able to correct because it's not going to happen week in and week out.
Right.
You find a way to win, and good teams do that when you don't play your best football.
Yeah.
That was Miami Dolphins today.
What do you call it? Got to win ugly.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's tough.
Part of the correction involved Joe Burrow, yes, getting that hair gel from
Oh, man, he was looking good after the game. I
But
never looked like that when the game was over.
But he also looked good doing it today. Joe Burrow package.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. Listen, it wasn't like he stood back there and didn't have. Look at this moving around, which I complained about before the show, before the game started today. He was extending too many plays. Threw under pressure that time to Tyler Boyd. The Jets run into each other. And Tyler Boyd, the number 3 receiver for the Bengals, that's how good they are. He can take, oh, how about that? The reload.
Yeah.
He's predetermined to throw it in the flat, pulled it back and hit the touchdown pass, 23 of 36. Really solid day for Joe Burrow. 275 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers for him, and that was a big deal.
You saw the post-game interview with Evan Washburn. He's a pretty relaxed guy.
Yeah.
He's
Joe cool.
Right, he really is. I mean, and even in the middle of losing, like last week, he basically said, relax. Everybody just relax. We're going to be okay. And then you see this goal. I don't think he was totally happy with the way the game ended, although we were sitting here extolling the virtues of how the Bengals were ending the game, but they ended up giving the ball back to the Jets. But to me, they are one of the most, if not the most talented offensive team when you look at all of their skill players together.
You know what I love about Joe Burrow is that he's focused on what's happening inside the walls of the facility. He was talking last week about everybody mentioning that the Bengals are falling off and they're having these issues. He said, I didn't hear. I don't have social media. He deleted all of his social media before the season started just so we could stay focused and also not get distracted by the noise.
Right.
So that's a guy that cares solely on the season, and you can tell.
And again, I guess go back to the defense for the first time playing with the lead. You saw what they're capable of doing in terms of putting pressure on the quarterback, Trey Hendrickson. And, you know, again, I think it was a good team win, and they were not that far away. We all kind of knew that from at 0-2. Tough test on Thursday going against Miami.
Yeah, it is. You know, when you talk about Joe Burrow, he really is Joe Cool.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I said he's like a young Joe Montana. He got upset with that. Like, let's don't rush to judgment. But that's who he reminds me of. And, you know, the one thing, he is absolutely, without question, the leader of their team in all aspects.
Yeah.
Everybody looks towards him, the coaches, the players, and he comes through a lot of times.
If most young people heard that their social media was being taken away from them, they'd be hospitalized.
Oh, yeah, because they're like fiends.
And Joe is focused.
True.
More to come on the State Farm postgame show after this. See you later. Saturday, it's a college football doubleheader on CBS beginning at noon Eastern with Navy against Air Force. Then at 3:30, it's the SEC on CBS in an outstanding matchup. Second-ranked Alabama rolls into Fayetteville to take on number 20 Arkansas. That's all Saturday right here on CBS.
Well, we got an instant update, JB. This is going to be Green Bay down in Tampa, down 3-0. Aaron Rodgers, Romeo Dobbs, 5 yards, 7-3. Packers lead over the Buccaneers.
And there you have it right there. Tom Brady, 4 of 4, and Aaron Rodgers, 5 of 5. Not a lot of incompletions, right, Phil?
Romeo Dobbs, Nevada Wolfpack. All right, we have an NFC North matchup. To the fourth quarter we go. Alexander Madison. Ooh, goes left, cuts right, and then gets in. Alexander the Great. All right, the score, 24-21 Lions. Lions had control of this game throughout. The fourth quarter, who's that? Kirk Cousins to KJ Osborne for the go-ahead touchdown. Kirk Cousins, 24-41, 260, and 2 TDs. Wow. Vikings with the comeback win. They are now 2-1.
All right, this is another one of these cha-ching games. It's a Jalen Hurts cha-ching game. He's going to throw a touchdown pass to A.J. Brown, 17-0 in the first half over the Commanders. Then he comes back. He's going to hit Devonta Smith. You think Howie Roseman did a good job building around this young quarterback? He was 22 of 35, 340. 3 touchdowns as the Eagles win. They go to 3-0. They're 24-8 over the Commanders. They were all over Carson Wentz in the first half. There were 6 sacks in the first half. All right, down in Carolina, would the Carolina Panthers be able to get their first win? And they did. Right here, Alvin Kamara's going to have that ball ripped out of his hands. And Marquise Haynes is going to take this back with a scoop and score. It's going to be 7-0 Panthers. Panthers quarterback Baker Mayfield. There you go, Baker. All right. Just hit the guy in the flat, let him do the rest. That's Laviska Shenault. He is going to take it all the way to the house. The Panthers, Matt Rule, Baker Mayfield and company get their first win, 22-14.
Boomer, can I just say, first of all, thank you for saying they get their win, because I said 3 teams earlier, 4 teams that will win this today. That included Carolina.
Hey, got to talk about Jalen Hurts. Boomer said a lot about him. All the throws he had in the first half, they just came out and threw the ball almost every play. And think about the 2 guys they've built this offense around receiving. Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, 254 yards of receiving and 2 touchdowns. And their grand scheme, how they want to run this team, is working out pretty well.
And Jalen Hurts has been the leader, and I'll tell you, he's been impressive his first 3 games, no question about it. This total commander of the offense, the ability to run the football, his decision-making, his accuracy throwing it, and the defense, 9 sacks today. They may be the most complete team in the National Football League right now.
Not to mention with a lockdown corner on the outside, Darius Slay, who's a veteran who brings a little bit of grit to that defense.
Here's the thing. Jalen Hurts was a 2nd-round draft choice. So that means he has a different contract situation going on. The Eagles are going to have to pay him by the end of this year.
Better pay him sooner than later.
I would pay him now if I could.
The price is going up.
Just like I'm hearing your grunt through these highlights. I want to hear you on CBS Mornings with a good story.
Yeah, I'm into it. I got
the State Farm postgame show continues.
Look at those guys.
This is the State Farm postgame show.
All right, folks, as we welcome you back to Studio 43 and the State Farm postgame show, a reminder, next Sunday, it's an NFL on CBS doubleheader. That begins with a huge matchup in Baltimore between the Bills and the Ravens. And you might want to take a look at the Chargers against the Texans. Then a legendary coach heads to a legendary location when Bill Belichick leads the Patriots into Lambeau to take on the Packers. It all begins noon Eastern right here with the NFL Today next Sunday here on CBS as we welcome in our NFL Today insider. I keep saying the Tar Heels finest. That will be Jonathan Jones, and he's got the latest.
Thanks, JB. So Mac Jones, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His last interception was when Calais Campbell hit him as he released the football, landed on his lower leg, hobbled off in great pain in that lower left leg area. No update from Bill Belichick after the game. No update yet from the Patriots, but a lot of pain from Mac Jones. Josh Allen was seen going into the x-ray room after the Buffalo Bills lost to the Miami Dolphins. He said afterward, hey, I'm fine, it's fine. Took a helmet or face mask to the hand. He says he's okay. Also, Tua Tagovailoa, we talked about him earlier, how he had a sort of issue there. They called it a head injury. Well, it turns out, according to the team, his back really tightened up. That's why he was stumbling around after that Matt Milano hit. He was checked out by both the team physician and the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant. That's why he was able to return to the game in the second half.
Wow.
Is Boomer still a nice-looking guy down there with the 2 guys? Yes. Him now?
I'm doing fine. Good job.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Nate said.
How you feel about that FaceTime that he got?
We got too much FaceTime.
The State Farm postgame show continues after this. That was a good move, Boomer. tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and Secretary of State Mr. Blinken, followed by the season finale of Big Brother Plus, The Equalizer. That's tonight on CBS. Instant update, Coach.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp, not on the pass. Now, how about just handing the thing off right to him, 20 yards right there, and now Los Angeles Rams take a 10-0 lead over the Arizona Cardinals. You can see right there, Kyler Murray, 1 of 4, 6 yards. Matthew Stafford.
All right, we can't do this every week, Arizona Cardinals. All right, you had a fantastic comeback last week. You got to tighten up in the first half of these games.
So, Boomer, believe it or not, we have a nice leisurely pace as we go around for a final thought, starting comfortably with you.
Well, final thoughts for me are two quarterbacks, both betting on themselves. One is Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, and he's played, this is his third game in a row. He's played exceptionally well. And like I said, they're going to have to pay him, and it's going to be a big number. And the other one is Lamar Jackson. Again, over 100 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns he's accounted for. I mean, he is off to his MVP-type season. So there are a lot of quarterbacks that are playing well. Those two just happen to be playing the best right now, I think, of everybody.
And I'll speak on another quarterback who never wavered in his confidence within himself, and that's Tua Tagovailoa. With the injuries that he had to deal with, the criticism, the coaching changes, even people criticizing him when they signed Tyreek Hill, saying, well, Tyreek Hill is too fast for Tua. I don't know if he has a strong enough arm to get the ball to him. You know what? He has proven everybody wrong. He is out there controlling the offense and proving that not only is his team one of the best in the league, but he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
And he's a leader. I mean, that interview after the game, the way he was, his humility that he talked about, and listen, they just beat the team in the AFC East, Buffalo. Now they got to play the Cincinnati Bengals. So he definitely has the control, and he's an absolute leader of the football team. But again, I'll go back to what we talked about from the beginning of our show, talking about 2-0 teams. How about 4 0-2 teams that won today? You're talking about the Carolina Panthers. You're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, the Tennessee Titans, and the Indianapolis Colts. These are 4 teams that, you know, they knew the season was on their line. Even in week 3 of a 17-game season, they understood the desperate element of what today was about. And I give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, you know, you're right, Bill. Indy at Kansas City, that was a great emotional effort and win by Indianapolis for sure. I mean, I could feel it just watching the game. I was nervous for Matt Ryan because you could see he was putting all that pressure on himself. Buffalo and Miami, just the physicality, the heat down there, and just the two really good teams going against each other. And New England, Baltimore, man, that had some heat to it too when you watch the game. And Baltimore, look out. Philadelphia, look out. These are two really good football teams, and their quarterbacks
You
playing
normally tease me about always talking about my schools. I don't talk about my high school enough. DeMatha High School. The coach had 2 DeMatha players in there to play significant roles down the end. Nick Cross, the youngest player in the league, by the way. And, of course, Rodney McLeod, Stags for sure. Tom Ponton, the guy from DeMatha, you talk to. Said, JP, please talk about it.
And they put out James Brown.
We step aside. We'll see you next week right here on